Hey, good day, everybody. Hey, 10 signs you're addicted to failure. Hopefully, this doesn't represent you, but there might be some areas here where you might want to take a serious look at because they're very, very good. If you're searching for the secret to success, they aren't hard to find. There's thousands of books and seminars and podcasts, the one you're listening to right now, as a matter of fact, articles, interviews, videos, and courses all dedicated to teaching you how to succeed. And that people don't succeed today, it's really just indication that they're not really serious about succeeding, because there's no shortage of information on how to succeed or what to do, regardless of what your chosen field is. And in sales, there's just there's mega information about that, and you just need to go out, seek it, internalize it, make it yours, and go win. And yet, even with all of this incredible information available at little to no cost, so many of us continue to live in mediocrity and will never taste success. The reality is that you can have all the right knowledge, but if you hold on to the wrong beliefs or behaviors, which is really most people's real issue, their beliefs determine their behaviors. They have poor beliefs or beliefs that don't serve them, and as a result, they behave in a certain way that leads to mediocrity. You're more likely to meet with failure than you are with success. Failure is not always a bad thing, as long as you're learning from the mistakes and are correcting your behaviors and actions to reach success. Fortunately, there are signs that serve as warnings that you may be on the path to constant failure. By acknowledging these signs and making changes when necessary, you increase your odds of success dramatically. So, and I think one of the big issues, I know for me, I've had mega failures, tons of failure in my life. Everybody who's ever reached for anything has had them. And the difference between people that end up going on and winning big and people that stay, where they are or go backwards is they don't learn from it, and they don't correct what they have a weakness. For in my example, for me personally, I had a real problem with procrastination. So that's a big issue. If you're wanting to be successful but you're always procrastinating, pretty much no chance to succeed. So that was something I had to overcome. I had to learn to just get things done now, not put things off. If you needed to make the call now. If you needed a prospect now. Instead of putting things off, which is what I used to do before I made a decision I really wanted to succeed, I figured out, I'm going to use the adage, do it now. And I started to do that. I actually put a sign on my desk that do it now. And I stopped procrastinating. If I needed to make a call, I did it now. If I needed to do whatever I needed to do that I was avoiding, right, that we all avoid, we're all in the avoidance game, I just got in the habit of doing things now, especially when it came to business. I think if you adopt that kind of mentality, you're going to get a lot further than you would otherwise. So here are 10 signs that you're addicted to constant failure, and hopefully this wakes you up or isn't you. How to stop failing by changing your behaviors. Number one, you're addicted to the approval of others. Boy, is this one thing that I've seen that is without question, the biggest detriment to people's success. I see this happening all the time. People are addicted to the approval of others. So when it's time to make an important decision, instead of trusting their logic or intuition, they consult with people around them first. They value the opinions of others more than they value their own. This emotional addiction, that's what it is, to the approval of others stems from a lack of self-confidence and a desire to please everyone. Successful people are very particular about whose advice they ask for. They make sure to only consider the opinion of someone who has a track record of success with the issue at hand. They don't concern themselves with the opinions of anyone and everyone, especially when it comes to the issues that those people have little or no experience with. This is really important. People are asking, they talk to their good friends or their brothers or mom and dad or whether, and these are people maybe that are doing okay but have never really won in a significant, way, and they're taking advice from these people. That is a mistake. You need to take advice from people who are doing or have done what it is you want to do. And then you need to follow that advice. At the end of the day, they do what they feel right. Successful people I'm talking about, not what other people convince them to do. Number two, you entertain yourself instead of educating yourself. This is a big issue. Sports, movies, different things that people do. You work a full-time job. You might even have a decent career, but you haven't opened up a book since college. and the only extra training you've taken was required by your employer. The thought of going to networking events in your industry, reading books, listening to podcasts, going to seminars to learn new skills, getting new ideas is completely foreign to you. Instead of spending your spare time investing in yourself and your ability to provide more value to the marketplace, you distract yourself with entertainment that adds no real value to your life or your productivity. You watch television often, you always know who won the game, and you can be found in nightclubs regularly. I think one of the things that one thing that I think most people don't realize, time is the one thing we all have, the same. Regardless of your situation right now, you have the same 24 hours that anyone else has. So what most people are doing, instead of investing in themselves, they're spending their time, because you're either investing your time or you're spending your time. There's no in between. So if you're watching the boob tube, or you're going to a nightclub, or you're watching a football game or basketball or any sport on TV, you're not investing yourself, you're distracting yourself. So when you don't invest in yourself, there can't be a return down the road. If you're investing in yourself, right, growing your skill sets, growing your knowledge, mastering whatever is necessary in your particular industry, then if you're doing that, then you have a chance for a return down the road. But if you're doing other things with your time, your spare time is spent doing things that have no long-term upside potential for you, you're just hurting your opportunity to be productive, to be successful, to do what it is you really want to do. Number 3, you blame others for your circumstances. Wow, is this common? Not my fault. You're not satisfied with where you are in life, but you have a perfect explanation for it. Essentially, none of it's your fault. You blame your boss, you blame your coworkers, your parents, your education, your childhood, the economy, your upline, whatever. It's always somebody else's fault. It's never yours. You refuse to take 100% responsibility for your results. You refuse to acknowledge that you and you alone are in control of your life. And you get to steer yourself in whatever direction you choose. You get to make all the choices. No one's making those choices for you. You can say, well, I didn't have a choice. You always have a choice. You may be afraid to make the tough choice, the right choice, but you always have a choice. Number 4, you're afraid of making mistakes. You're afraid of failure, so you do whatever you can to avoid making mistakes. You don't make the calls, you don't prospect, you don't try to close, you don't do whatever it is you need to do. You forget that in the real world, failure is not good or bad. It's simply feedback, instructing you that, look, this isn't working. You need to figure out a different way, or you need to take a different tact, or you got to bone up on your sales skills or your prospecting skills or whatever skills you need to be successful. But instead of learning from the valuable feedback that failure provides, you try to avoid it entirely. When you make a mistake, you cover it up and hope no one notices. You also put off making decisions because you're afraid of making the wrong one. It takes you a long time to finally make a decision, and then you change your mind often. Number 5, you stay in relationships that obviously aren't working. And I don't mean just romantic relationships. I think relationships also, with friends and coworkers and whatever. You got to be careful about who you associate with. You have a tendency to date people who bring you more problems than pleasure. You often tolerate behaviors that you know aren't acceptable. Because you tolerate them, they continue. Maybe you carry unresolved issues from previous relationships into your current one. Maybe you struggle with a low self-image, so the standard you have for others isn't very high. Whatever the case, you must understand that your choice of a spouse or friends or whatever, right, people you associate with, has a major impact on your life and success. If the person or the people you're around now is inhibiting your happiness, inhibiting your success, cut them loose and raise your standards. Number 6, you're addicted to drama. Most people are addicted to drama until they're not. Your life is a lot like an episode from a reality TV show. You are rarely on good terms with all the people around you. You gossip about others often, and surprise, surprise, they gossip about you too. The people you spend time with are known for arguing with each other, flirting with each other's spouses, lying, and generally just causing problems between each other regularly. Instead of disassociating yourself from these types of people, you jump right in, add fuel to the fire. Heck, maybe you're even the star of the show. You need to get rid of the drama. You need to get focused on what it is you want, and you need to get the skill sets and the knowledge, acquire those that you need to win in your chosen profession. Number 7, you spend time with people who are going nowhere. The fantastic Jim Rohn, who is considered to be America's foremost business philosopher, once said, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That could be very exciting, or it could be really sad. Depends. Who are you associating with? Are they going somewhere? Are they inspiring to you? Are they doing the things that you want to do? Unfortunately, you spend most of your time with people who do not support or encourage your success. The people around you have no ambitions, no goals, no concrete plans to improve their life. They seem to think that success is something that happens to other people, but not to them. You sometimes share an ambitious idea with these people, but they're quick to crush it. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, come on. This is what they used to tell me. You're never going to be a millionaire. People like us who come from where we come from, right? They don't make it. Come on, you're a dreamer. I used to hear that all the time. But you know what? That's not true. I changed the way I thought. I changed who I associated with. I changed my focus. Voila. Successful people know that attitudes of the people around them are contagious, so they intentionally surround themselves with people who will encourage them and push them to higher levels. They know they can't afford to adopt the beliefs, thoughts, and habits of mediocre people if they're going to continue succeeding. You know, that's one of the things. I'm a golfer. I love to golf, and I have a lot of friends who are very. You know, I've got several friends who are on the PGA Tour or the Web.com tour that I play golf with regularly, and I do that, and I reach out to them all the time because they're professionals. They're really, really good at what they do, shooting 62s and 4s and 5s and 8s, man, all the time. Even when they're not playing bad, they're still shooting a couple, 2 or 3 under par. And I love playing with them because I love watching how they go about doing that, what their focus is, what they do. Because we become like the people we associate with most. So if you are totally always around people who have mediocre habits and thoughts, guess what? There you go. Number 8, you're careless with money. You often run out of money before you run out of month. You're living paycheck to paycheck. You invest nothing for the future. You carry a balance on your credit cards. You take vacations you can't afford. You often buy expensive things impulsively. You spend money trying to look successful, but your balance sheet tells a different story. You hardly have any savings. You certainly don't have a retirement plan. You don't have any assets that make money for you, and your spending habits are your biggest liability. You sometimes come close to acknowledging the truth about your situation, but instead of facing it and changing it, you let it continue. Think about your finances. Gives you a headache. Thinking about your finances gives you a headache, and you prefer to avoid the subject entirely. And if you notice that, most people don't really think about that. They're not focused on their situation with money. Look, one thing that I think everyone should do, and I mean everyone, regardless of who you are, I don't care if you're doing very well or not, you need to have some sort of a plan that gets you, moves you towards and gets you debt-free. To me, debt is the biggest problem for the vast majority of people. And then also a plan to reach your financial goals, to get financially independent. Those two things combined, when you get rid of I want you to think about this. Imagine if you had no debt, no car payments, no house payments, no debt. Of course, you got the incidentals and things you have to pay for every month and that sort of thing. You got to eat, you got to pay for your insurances, you got to, pay for, gasoline for your car and all that. But assuming you have no debt, I want you to think about how much better your life would be right now, even if you didn't make any more income than you're currently making, but you had no debt. Most of you would have an extra $500, $1,000, $2,000, sometimes more, maybe $3,000 or $4,000 a month that could be used for getting financially independent, for doing the things you really want to do. So I want you to think about how debt is impacting your life in a negative way. Yeah, you're not going to get there overnight. It's going to take a plan, and you're going to have to be disciplined. But I'm telling you, over time, the best thing that I've ever done financially is be debt-free. Now, I did a lot of other things that have worked out well, but the debt-free part is really freed me up. It really got me to a place where I didn't feel stress anymore. I just don't have any stress about money at all because I don't have any debt and I have a significant cash flow and money saved, and that's where I'd like to see all of you be at some point. But you've got to have a plan for that. It's not going to just happen to you. You've got to start, kind of chipping away at that thing, little by little, month in, month out. Pay those credit cards down. Pay everything. Don't keep adding to them. And then once you get one card done, start paying the other one, et cetera, et cetera. But get a plan to get debt-free. I promise you, when you finally accomplish that, nothing will feel better than that. I mean, it's amazing how it frees you up. Number 9, you have dreams. Great. But no set goals, not so great. You often imagine a more desirable version of your life, but instead of working towards making that vision a reality, you settle for your present circumstances. You complain often, but change little. You say you want certain things, but you do nothing to obtain them, and you wish for your life to get better, but you make no commitment to improve yourself or your circumstances. So it's great to have a goal. It's not so great to not have. It's great to have a dream, rather, but it's not so great to not have set goals. You've got to put your goals in writing, and you've got to look at them every day. I think you should look at your goals at least 20 times a day. I think you should infuse your subconscious mind with exactly what it is you want, and have a focus on that, because whatever we intently focus on over time, we will create in our physical reality. And so you need to have those things in writing so you can see them. Just do a synopsis. You don't have to have a detailed goals. With a synopsis of maybe on a 3x5 card that you post up on your refrigerator, on your dresser, on your sun visor of your car, on the mirror where you get ready in the morning, whatever. Have them everywhere so that you're seeing them on your cell phone, right? Where you could, they're maybe on your what do they call that when it's the screensaver, right? A screensaver with your goals. So you're just seeing them over and over and over, and you can't run away from them. Okay? You need to do that. Because successful people are driven by clear, specific goals. Their goals are what guide their decisions every day. So when you know what your goals are, you're going to start making better decisions. So the more focused you are on your goals, those decisions you make minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, are going to be the right goal, decisions, and then you're going to start moving more quickly towards whatever it is that goal is, okay? Their goals are what guide their decisions and their daily activities, and they rarely let a day pass by without doing something to bring them closer to achieving them. Their dreams aren't they sleep with at night. Their dreams are something they wake up and chase. And so, by having those goals, and you're focusing on morning, noon, and night, it's just something that happens. I don't know what it is. I don't even know how to explain it, because it just happens. I know when I want to have something happen, all I do is focus on that thing relentlessly, constantly. I think about it. I talk about it. I just get consumed with it. And then over time, those things happen. It's happened to me for over 30 years now. I promise you, you get clear and specific on your goals, and you focus on them, and you ask yourself, is this thing I'm about to do going to move me closer to my goals or further away from my goals? It's going to do one or the other. Every choice you make with your time and how you spend your time is moving you closer to where you want to go or away from where you want to go. You've got to keep asking yourself this question. Is what I'm about to do going to move me closer or away from my goals? And then make the decision. Make the right decision. It really is that simple. You start making the right decisions day after day, right? Great things are going to start happening to you. Number 10, you think successful people got lucky. The final sign that you're addicted to failure is you believe successful people are lucky. They're not lucky, or they got lucky, or they had some sort of advantage that you don't have. You believe their parents helped them, or they went to the right school, or they grew up in the right neighborhood, or they got in at the right time, or they knew the right person, or the right ethnicity, or whatever your issue is, right? You think success is something that people stumble upon. A right place at the right time, lucky sort of situation. But the reality is people succeed by being the right person. Let me repeat that. But the reality is people succeed by being the right person in the right place at the right time. In other words, they work relentlessly to prepare themselves for specific opportunities. And when those opportunities present themselves, they size them up. They seize them, rather. They don't sit around waiting for life. They want to fall into their lap. They also typically don't buy lottery tickets. One of the things that happened to me, I spent thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on books and audios and seminars way before I even started making money. I was just making a living, but my wife used to get very upset. Jan used to say, "Why are you spending? We don't have all that extra money. Why are you spending money on that seminar or buying those audio programs or whatever you're doing? Why are you doing that? We can't afford it." And I would tell her, I said, "Look, I know it's an expense. I know it's tough, but I am preparing myself for the opportunity when it presents itself. I don't know what that is right now, but I know there's going to be something, and I want to be ready for it when it presents itself. That's the point. I'm preparing to be successful because there's going to be some opportunity that's going to come around. I don't know what it is, but when it comes, I'm going to be ready, and I'm going to be able to take advantage of it, and we're going to have an amazing life." And I literally told her that. And that's what I was doing. I was preparing for something that eventually would happen, right? So even like when you're going to get an advanced degree or a degree of some sort, you're doing that. You don't know what's going to happen, but you're preparing yourself, right? You're getting an education. You're learning about the things that whatever happens to be your chosen career path, but you're learning about that. You don't know if you're ever going to get a job, right? You don't know what's going to happen. All you know is that you need to prepare for something so when it happens, and that's what I'm saying here. You need to prepare yourself for that eventual opportunity that's going to present itself. And the more focused you are on preparing yourself and getting ready for that, when it happens, and it will, you're going to have multiple opportunities come across your life in the future, okay? So make sure that you are ready for it.